Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Aja Goare. A former aide to President Trump raised eyebrows when he threatened to tear up the subpoena he received from special counsel Robert Mueller on national television. CBS's Aja Goare has more on his apparent change of heart.
Former Trump campaign aide Sam Nunn Berg now says he will probably testify before a grand jury.
I would be willing to go in for testimony. I want it to be fair.
The announcement was a 180 for Nunn Berg, who spent the previous hours on several cable news outlets threatening to defy a subpoena from special counsel Robert Mueller, who is investigating Russian interference in the 2016 election.
They're not going to send me to jail. You know what, Mr. Mueller, if he wants to send me to jail, he can send me to jail, and then I'll laugh.
Nunn Berg objected to Mueller's subpoena to turn over records of communication with the president and his inner circle, including Hope Hicks, Steve Bannon, and Roger Stone, a former campaign advisor.
I'm not going to spend 80 hours going over emails. I'm not going to go into a grand jury.
Nunn Berg never worked at the White House, and he only spent 2 months as part of the campaign before being fired.
Do you know the way I've been treated by Donald Trump? I mean, I hate the guy.
Nunn Berg also speculated on TV that he thinks special counsel Mueller may have evidence of collusion between the president and the Russians, but he says he doesn't know for sure.
I definitely think he doesn't know that for sure because he's incorrect. As we've said many times before, there was no collusion with the Trump campaign.
Nunn Berg is scheduled to testify before the grand jury on Friday. Aja Goare, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, more pushback expected today over President Trump's plans to put tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum. House Speaker Paul Ryan meets with the press today following his comments that he's extremely worried the tariffs will spark a trade war. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke with the president over the phone to express his concern. The president will soon meet with the Swedish Prime Minister, who is likely to relay concerns from European Union members. Here in Montana, Missoula police are looking for a pair of suspects who shot 2 people at a convenience store this morning. Officers were called to the 2400 block of South Higgins Avenue around 3:30 this morning for a reported shooting. We're told 2 suspects entered the store, at least one of them armed, and then shot 2 men before fleeing the scene. Both victims were transported to the hospital, where one was treated and released. The condition of the second victim is unknown. One suspect is described as being taller than 6 feet, muscular, and wearing a dark-colored hoodie. The second suspect is shorter with similar clothing. Both may be armed. Anyone with information should contact law enforcement. The man who has been camping out on the ice in Great Falls for 3 days, now in protective custody. Benjamin Staples was apprehended by Cascade County Sheriff's deputies last night and taken to the hospital for an evaluation. Statements made by Staples on Monday caused authorities to be concerned for community safety.
I'm glad it worked out, and I could sense that this gentleman had some potential mental health issues. There were a few red flags for me, so I'm glad we got him off there, and I really truly believe that if we went out on the ice in uniform, he would have jumped in.
A GoFundMe page set up for the man says he recently moved to Montana from Arkansas. An employee of a Livingston medical marijuana dispensary denies allegations that he sold the drug to someone without a green card. 40-year-old Gary Profit pleaded not guilty Monday in Park County District Court to 1 count of distributing dangerous drugs. Profit allegedly sold over 127 grams of marijuana products to a confidential informant at High Country Buds in Livingston last year. Court documents state the informant wore a wire to record the transaction. Profit could be heard telling the informant to use the marijuana discreetly until that person could obtain a medical marijuana card. The Belt High School football player left paralyzed after a game in 2014, taking his case against Benefice Health System to trial this week. Jury selection got underway Monday in Cascade County District Court. Plaintiff Robert Back collapsed on the sidelines of a game. He was cleared to play after taking an immediate post-concussion assessment and cognitive test at the hospital. Back, who is now a quadriplegic, argues he should not have been cleared to play. The family has already settled its suit against the high school. Trial is expected to last 3 weeks. A private insurer, not the state, is responsible for asbestos claims linked to a vermiculite mine in Libby. A judge made that ruling that the National Indemnity Company of Omaha, Nebraska is responsible for a multi-million-dollar settlement. In 2011, the state agreed to settle the claims from those harmed by the mine's asbestos fibers for $43 million. The state argued that its insurer at the time should be responsible. The judge in Bozeman agreed, ruling that National Indemnity must pay the settlement and court fees. The company could appeal the decision to the Montana Supreme Court. The lawsuit says state inspectors knew about dangers from asbestos fibers at the mine as early as the 1950s, but did nothing to inform workers or the public. Montana Green Party organizers have submitted thousands of signatures to election offices in Montana's major cities. If the party submits enough valid signatures, Green Party candidates could file this year to run for any state office. However, county and state election officials must work quickly to verify those signatures. The deadline for candidate filing is Monday, and the Green Party must qualify by then in order for its candidates to be able to file. We reached out to the Montana Green Party officials Monday, but did not hear back. Former Montana Senator Max Baucus encouraging hundreds of high school students to find solutions for global problems. Baucus, also the former U.S. ambassador to China, spoke at Monday's event at the University of Montana. Baucus said he anticipates cyber security to be a key issue for these future leaders to figure out. He says he wants students to anticipate working with other countries, but not let them take advantage of the U.S. The Montana World Affairs Council organized that event. Straight ahead on the Noon News, the Midwest braces for a new batch of winter weather. We have the details from the scene next. But first, Ed has our state forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Aja Goare. Storm